Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I realized that I haven't done a meal prep with me video in a very long time. And now that I've had a little bit more experience being vegan, I'm going on 3 years next month. I don't remember the date exactly, but I do remember it was in July, and it was because I was in law school at the time and I wanted to make a change for my health and wealth for the better. So I know it was about 3 years ago. So after, just like in fitness and just like anything that you try or do for the first time, it is brand new. So you are learning and you are figuring out things that work best for you. Being vegan, I love vegetables and I love food in general, but it was a little difficult for me at first on how to get sufficient protein. So even though I was very lean, it was because I wasn't consuming a good calorie intake. And now what I'm trying to do for my future goal is I'm trying to build lean muscle and get rid of excess fat, and still maintaining a very healthy lifestyle, something that's still very doable and that I don't feel that I'm restricting my body of. So after 3 years of figuring that out, I figured we would do a meal prep together, and I can show you the macros, the carbs, fats, protein, grams, all of it. Sorry, here's just a brief interruption of this activewear fit. Their new seamless bra. Obsessed. And I just decided to throw it on and wear around the house. And these lounge shorts are also super comfy. Just something to have, I love them. And I just really wanted to be comfortable when I'm cooking. So anyway, that's that. So starting, obviously, like when you start eating better, you need to stop, in my opinion, these Instagrammable, like very aesthetically pleasing meal prep styles. You can if you want to, but it doesn't have to be that complicated. And I think that's when people say they get really discouraged or they feel like they don't have enough time. And it's because of that, because they are just so in tune with trying to get that specific aesthetically pleasing meal prep idea instead of honestly just going to the basics. Your protein, your carb, and your vegetables. I'm actually going to start cutting soon, so I will be in a calorie deficit, which means that I will be consuming less calories than I burn. And I know that sounds really confusing because I always somehow have a tongue twist about it. Basically, I am intaking less calories than I would if I burn daily. With that being said, like I said, it was a little bit different when I started doing veganism, because when I used to cut eating meat, I would always usually just cut carbs, or I would cut carbs to having oatmeal and then my brown rice in the afternoon and then having a huge salad for dinner type of situation. But I would always have protein, and protein was very obvious. You have chicken, you have fish, you have beef, you have the works, right? Being vegan, I didn't know how I was going to get lean protein without a lot of carbs. So here is what I'm going to show you. Your basics, your absolute basics for protein, especially if you want something that's high in protein and not considerably a lot in carbs: tofu, seitan, tempeh. I personally do not like tempeh. Maybe I haven't made it correctly, but it's still not really my go-to, but seitan and tofu is. And I have this here that we'll be using, and it has roughly 1/5 piece is 14 grams of protein. So just imagine how much is in this entire block. A lot, right? Obviously. And also, don't be afraid to eat vegetables, because a lot of vegetables, believe it or not, do contain protein as well. Broccoli, mushrooms, legumes especially have a lot of protein, lentils, black beans, etc. So do not be afraid with using stuff like that. And that is what's going to help you, especially if you're trying to eat better, but you're not sure how to get your protein intake. Definitely try that. So I want you guys to look at this spread right now. This is roughly what we are going to make. I am going to do a type of taco bowl type of situation where I'm going to marinate my tofu and also put all of these delicious vegetables together. Different from tacos because I'm trying not to consume the tortilla. I'm actually trying to be as whole foods and mostly plant-based as possible, meaning I'm trying very hard not to have processed food like tortillas and vegan junk food like my vegan cheese and all my vegan chicken nuggets, if you will. I'm trying very hard to stay away from that during this process so that I may get lean, because that is the goal. So, helpful hint tidbit. Here's another thing that I highly suggest if you're very new at being vegan, or if you don't really know how to cook or how to play around with spice, you kind of just need a little bit of inspiration. I highly suggest that you do look at recipes. Obviously I'm going to be posting this one, so you'll have one recipe ready for you. But don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to mix with spices, because that is the go-to. One of my friends were so nice to give me this, the Friendly Vegan Cookbook. My friends are honestly the best and they support me so much. I love them. So specifically with tofu, again, since I am cutting and I'm trying not to use like Impossible meat or Beyond meat for this segment, trying to be a little bit more whole foods and plant-based. I have a lot of trouble, not a lot, I do have trouble with marinating tofu and making it taste really well. So that is where this amazing cookbook is gonna come in, and everything else is just gonna be a little bit more of my style, my flavor, and whatever I want. But specifically, we are going to be using the beefy taco recipe, but only using for the marination of the tofu. Obviously, I'm not gonna have the tortilla and all that other extra good, delicious stuff, but this is just very good to see like a different way where I can season the tofu in a way that's gonna complement the dish that I am envisioning. So do not be afraid to get cookbooks, do not be afraid to look online, and especially try and see like different recipes and ways you can play with spice. And then the more you do that, the more comfortable you're gonna be, and it's just gonna come second nature, and you're not even gonna have to think about it anymore. So there's that helpful tip. So here's the prepped version. Fun fact, mushrooms have good amount of protein in them, so I used obviously a lot, some tomatoes, minced garlic. Here are the spices. I'm missing a few from the recipe, so I'm kind of just doing my own thing. We have spiced smoked paprika, red chili flakes, pink Himalayan salt, and some black pepper, and red onions. So the recipe called for the tofu to be cut in 1-inch cubes and to preheat the oven to 375. So once that is preheated, pop that in for about 10 to 12 minutes, take it out, we'll add our dry ingredients. Once the cubes are in the oven, leave it in for about 10 to 12 minutes, just enough for it to soften a little bit. Then we're going to add our dry ingredients, all the seasoning and all the vegetables and everything. We're gonna saute that all together, and we will have something of a beefy consistency, if you will. And I'm really excited for this meal. I am famished, and this is also just going to be very helpful and very useful for your meal prep throughout the week. Very simple, very easy to do. So because I'm not doing any flour tortillas or any rice with the meal, but I still kind of need something a little bit, like, still need a little bit more carbs. I decided to add some black beans, cook some black beans, and a little bit of corn. I really like corn. Say what you will about corn and its controversy, but I really like corn. So that is going to be, also black beans have a lot of good protein, and they're also very carb heavy, and corn is just a starch, but again, like very light since I'm not doing tortilla or anything like that. Like, look how good this is going to be. I'm very excited. The recipe says, now that we have taken our tofu out and let it cool, to put it in a food processor and combine the tofu with the onions and the spices together until we get a few small crumbles. Well, I don't have that, so we're gonna use a blender. So that's the tofu in there, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm really nervous. I don't know if this is gonna work, and I just really hope my blender doesn't break. Added the onions, now I'm gonna add the spices. Also added the garlic. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm really nervous. I feel like this is gonna break because there's no liquid. I am not putting that in the blender. That is gonna go into a separate pan and it's gonna be cooked separately, because no, we are not gonna be that risky. I can't find the top to this. It disappeared, so improvising. Putting the very cool baking sheet on top. All right, let's see. This will work. It says to pulse it just a little till we get a consistency of a crumble. So let's see. Oh no. Yeah, guys, I don't think that's gonna work. But that is okay. This is why I tell you, when you start cooking a little bit more, you're gonna improvise and you're just gonna, you know, do some things that are a little bit different, do some things that you wouldn't normally do. And if they don't work, you're gonna try something else. So I have here, we're gonna heat up on a large pan. I am going to just put a little bit of oil on it, let it heat up, throw the mixture in there, and with a wooden spoon, I'm going to crumble it up. I'm going to crumble the tofu and kind of make that beefy crumble texture. Add the rest of my mushrooms, my tomatoes, my everything in there, like I should have in the first place. But I digress. That is what we're going to do, and hopefully it works. So let's see. All right, let's add this all in together. Look, some of it kind of crumbled, but it got stuck. No worry, we're gonna fix that. All right, so you're gonna just want to break up your tofu with your wooden spoon. See, that consistency's kind of there, that tofu crumbleness with the blender, but yeah. I'm just gonna keep breaking this down until it at least gets somewhat close to that. Even better, let's try using a fork to break this up. Yeah. Now we're cooking with oil. That's a lot better than the spoon. See? Adapting. That's all what it's about. And now I know for the future, so then I won't forget again. There we go. Now we're cooking. And if you guys could smell the flavors that are coming from this pan, you would be amazed. It smells so good. There's definitely some heat coming from this pan from the red chili flakes, but it smells so good, delicious. I'm ready to add the mushrooms and the tomatoes. Added the mushrooms and the tomatoes. I'll wait for the very end. So if you can see here, this is the final product. It's very colorful, very healthy, and very extremely delicious. I will post the macros down below. Basically, I didn't have my food scale or anything like that, so I eyeballed a little bit of everything. But with that, they'll give you a rough estimate as to how much the protein, the carbs, and the fat is in this entire meal. So I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that you enjoyed videos like this. If you do, comment below. Please like and subscribe to this video, and I will see you next time.